Welcome to the Hollywood Heroine podcast. All things pop culture, gossip, Kardashians, Real Housewives, reality TV. It's an addiction and we want to talk about it all. New episodes every Wednesday, and follow us on our Instagram account at the Hollywood Heroine with an E at the end. I want to hear what you guys have to say about the crazy pop culture world we are obsessed with. Okay, guys, we are doing a quick roundup recap of Miami Reunion Part 1. What did you think about it overall?
First of all, I was obsessed with the set and just everybody's looks. Like, they're again, Miami's so colorful. God. It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
I guess they had done the set like the Versace mansion, right? And then just their dresses. Like, I thought everyone looked really beautiful. Except, did Adriana come out at this? Yeah. I really didn't like her dress. I
love the color.
Outdated. I love the color, but I just didn't like
it was like a long sleeve. I think it was like a long sleeve.
Yeah, it was long. Yeah. It was just like, compared to everybody else, hers like a little bit dated, but I thought everyone was like beautiful, so colorful. Marisol kills me. I think she's so funny. And the funniest was like Lisa getting ready to come on the set.
Yeah.
That killed me. If you're going to talk about that, I'll let you talk about it. But overall, I really love Miami, and I thought it was a really good first episode. They really get into a lot of stuff, which like we didn't know about. It was very interesting, and I'm really excited for the next episode.
Agreed. So there's going to be 2 parts. So this is the first out of the 2, obviously. It's so funny that you said Lisa, because she's my first note on my list is like, dude, like Lisa, like she was late, and I guess she's always late. Andy was pissed. Like he was not having it because she was still like in the room, like getting mic'd up or something. And he's like, where the fuck is she? Like, what's taking so long? And then she comes out and she's like walking slowly. He's like, let's go. Like, stop parading yourself around here. I was like, like he was mad.
He was mad.
And she's like, can I put my jewelry on? Yeah, I don't know. She's like, can I put my jewelry on? He's like, just do it then. Like, what are you waiting? Like, I was like, oh,
first
God.
He's like, no jewelry.
Yeah.
But even before, when she first arrived, she's like, oh, how come I don't get my own bathroom and my own makeup station and my own room? Like, why do I have to share?
Yeah.
How come? She's a big diva.
She's a big diva. Like, at that point, what do you have to share? You're at a reunion. Like, just get ready, put your makeup on and go. It's not like your hotel. Like, you're not staying there at night. Anyway, so she came out. I think Lisa's biggest like storyline basically at the reunion was like, she does admit to taking out her fillers.
So much better already.
So much better.
Again, I hadn't watched the previous seasons that much, but I watched a couple episodes of like the earlier times. Obviously, everyone ages, no problem, but she's such a beautiful girl, and like, she was just too much. So even just, I guess they said like she saw herself and she recognized that. And so she started kind of taking them out. She already looks so much better. She's very beautiful. She doesn't need all that stuff.
Yeah. I did a deep dive like a while ago, because I was like, what did she look like before? Like, I really wanted to see like younger pictures. Yeah. And I think she must have been in her 20s. She was a stunning, like beautiful blonde, like, I don't know why she even did that much work to her face. Like, she definitely didn't even need it. But it is nice to hear someone say, I fucked up. I added way too many fillers. I'm taking them out now. Like, it's too much. So
yeah. And she looked really beautiful already.
Yeah. So that was pretty much Lisa's part in the reunion, basically. And then let's talk about Alexia a little bit. So Andy brings up the alleged charges about her son. And the first thing she says, she's like, they're alleged. Like, we're denying them. They're not like, we're denying it. He's not guilty, whatever. And then he does say like, oh, but he had like issues in the past, like whatever, like he had another charge about like hitting a homeless man or something. And Alexia's basically like, he's just gone through a lot in his life. He was very frustrated in that moment. Like, he had to deal with like his brother almost dying. So she's like, I'm not making excuses for him, but she's like, I love my son, and like, I'll always like stand by my son. That's basically like her answer.
Yeah.
To that. Nicole. Okay, so Nicole had a bit of some updates. So we talk about her ring, because she got engaged. Her ring's like very nice. And then Andy's like, is there a prenup? And then she's like, well, we kind of haven't really discussed it, but she's like, he's an attorney, so like, obviously,
I'm sure there will be,
I'm sure there's gonna be a prenup. Nicole talks about the Marisol drama a little bit. And they basically talk about how, I don't know like who exactly brings it up, but they're like, you were talking shit about Lisa's house. And Nicole starts explaining what went down. She said, apparently someone on my design team was a part of Lisa's design team, or like knew it about it or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he had asked her, like, what do you think about Lisa's remodeling? And Nicole says, I personally didn't think anything of it. She's like, it's just very glitzy and glam. Like, that's not my style. Like, that's personally like not what I like. Then Alexia chimes in and she's like, no, like, you're lying. She's like, you didn't say that. She's like, we were out for dinner. And she's like, you told me and Todd that like you guys like hate it. It's like so like tacky. The tiles are Chinese, like all these things. And Nicole's like, what? Like, I would never say that. Like, she's like, how the hell would I even know like where her tiles are from? And the whole time Lisa's just sitting there being like, bro, this is my house. Like, why is everyone like hating on my freaking house?
Like, why is this even a topic of conversation?
And that's what
like,
Nicole says. She's like, guys, look how dumb we are. Like, we're talking about a remodel interior design. Like, who the fuck cares?
Like, that's such a subjective topic about like people's different styles. Like, okay, you like it for you. It's your house. Why do I have to love it? I'm not going to talk shit about it. Who cares?
Exactly. And I'm sure maybe Nicole said, oh, it's not my style. Like, I don't like it. And that's, they took it and like they ran with it. Then Nicole also says that Alexia told her that Marisol did a wedding ceremony recently just so she could have a scene in the show. And obviously Alexia denies this. What did you think about it?
But sorry, I really got confused about the situation. They were talking about Marisol having done a wedding scene.
Yes. Yeah.
But did they?
I don't think they even showed it. I don't think they showed it.
That's why I was so confused. I was like, but they didn't even show it. So is that even a relevant topic?
I think they're just trying to prove that, like, I think Nicole's trying to just prove that, like, Alexia does talk shit about Marisol. And here's my perspective. I think they went out for dinner. They're probably just like chatting, like gossiping, like what's going on in everyone's lives. And maybe Alexia said, like Marisol wants to be on the show, so she's gonna do a wedding ceremony. Like maybe it came out like that.
Made a comment, yeah.
But like Nicole took it as like shade or something. But like I doubt it was. Oh, you're
talking shit about your friend. Yeah, I don't think it was shady either.
Yeah. Then let's get into Larsa. So Larsa again just proves how like she's very articulate and like she says everything that like Andy was asking her like the whole time. I felt like she like admitted to everything pretty much. Adriana again goes off on her butt and Larsa's like, bro, like what do you have for my butt? Like leave me alone. Like
I feel it's very low blowing to attack somebody on their physical appearance this much.
Yeah.
Like, so, what is it to you?
What's it to you? And she does admit to the work that she had done. And she's like, my face, I think she says like her lips, maybe her boobs. And then Andy's like, butt. And then she's like, but what? And she's like, your butt. She doesn't want to answer. And he's like, your butt. Like, did you have work done on your butt? She's like, no. She's like, I just like work out. Like, I'm athletic. Like, Adriana's like, no, like, you know, you obviously got fillers, like this, that. And then Larsa's like, I'm athletic and you're not. Like, sorry about that. So she was like throwing shade back.
No,
it's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much.
I feel like because she got whatever the Kardashians got, and because the Kardashians hold it so tight-lipped about what they do. And yeah, I know they work out a lot. Don't get me wrong. But when your thighs do not match your butt, you did something.
100%.
And so she just can't say it. I feel like she can't say it. And I feel like they start asking me more questions about this next episode too.
Okay. Yeah. Like, to me, it doesn't matter, obviously, what if she's
I don't care.
Or like whatever, but like, just be honest about it. Like, just own it at this point. But what you're saying is interesting. I didn't even think of that like, if she owns it, then people are going to look into what the Kardashians did.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
Because she owned everything else. She's like, I got my boobs, my nose, but don't touch my butt. And that's their like trademark thing. And they are so tight-lipped about that. Yeah. So I feel like she can't say anything about her butt.
And I love when like Adriana just like, she's like, if you want to look like Kim, just admit it because she's pretty. Like she always brings Kim back into like the conversation. Like it's just so funny. And then
even if that's the case, why are you hating on her for that? It was her good friend for so long. Like,
and so that's what Larsa says. Because I think Andy says, he's like, somebody said that like you sound like Kim. Like, guys, honestly, like you guys are obsessed with, she's like, guys, she was my friend for so many years. She's like, you start to talk like each other, you know, and that's so true. Even our group, like I feel like we all sort of talk the same because you pick up people's mannerisms and things. Like, that's normal. Even Nicole was like agreeing because like I think she understood exactly what Larsa was saying. And then Andy does bring up Scotty and like the divorce and everything. And, you know, Larsa gets like emotional. She's like, it's hard. Like you've been with someone since like you were 21 years old. Like it's a hard thing to like fully let go of. And
it's crazy that for her to be so young, she was married. She was with somebody for that long, like more than half of her life. Like she's in her what, like 40s. And she's like, I was married to her 25 years or whatever it was. Was with him for 25 years. It's crazy.
Yeah. Andy asks her if Scotty, because they talk about the Michael Jordan documentary a little bit. And
Mhm.
Larsa's like, yeah, yeah, of course I watched it. It was good, whatever. And then Andy's like, oh, like, was Scotty faithful to you the whole time? Like, whatever. And Larsa says, yeah, definitely. Like, we always had a good relationship. It was never a bad relationship. I think it just got to a point where she just wanted to go in a
Wanted
different
different
direction, I
things.
think,
Yeah.
Um, Larsa does talk about Future because Andy does ask about Future, and she says me and Scotty were definitely broken up when I was dating Future. She's like there was no affair. She's like even Scotty in an interview like says like we're broken up. This that. Look, at the end of the day, I think this platform has worked amazing for Larsa because I
Yeah.
think people had a misconception about her before this, and now she's said and talked about so many things that people made fun of her for that she's cleared up those rumors and she's been very open about it, and you can't hate on it. You can't hate on her
No,
for that.
I agree. I think she's come out well in this forum, and like it's been given her an opportunity to show a different side of her, that she is very articulate, that she's hardworking and whatever. Yeah, she likes to show off her body and all that, but
But
like
it's like, why
whatever.
not?
She
Yep.
was playing second fiddle and support to somebody her entire life. And even when they were talking about, and I don't know if you were going to bring this up, about the fact that they had a prenup, but it was only for 10 years. And so obviously that they were together over 20 years, that expires. And so it's 50-50. She's like, somebody kind of mentioned like, oh, you're good or you're set or whatever. But she's like, yeah, I earned it though.
It's
Like,
interesting.
you don't
Yeah.
just stand around like, okay, your husband's making all the money, okay, and you didn't make any money, but you did everything
Yep.
else
Yep.
for his life
Yep.
to allow him to make that money. So it's equal 50-50, 100%. Of course, she freaking deserves it.
100%. And I'm so happy you mentioned it. So they do talk about the prenup and then it dissolved after a certain amount. She goes, I earned it.
Of
And
course, she
there is
did.
something very liberating and something so powerful for a woman to stand on that stage and say, I fucking earned it. And none of you can sit here and say, you took his money and you, no, she raised his children. She took care of him. She was stood by him this entire time, to your point, so that he could do what he wanted to do for his life. She earned
Exactly.
it. And she is allowed that 50-50. And there is something very powerful about hearing someone clearly, very openly admit to that.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I
Me
honestly,
too.
like, I did love Larsa watching the season, and I was a pretty big like Larsa hater going into it. So
I wasn't a hater, but I did have a bit of a misconception that like, oh, like whatever, they're all like
yeah,
ditzy, whatever. But she's not. She has her whatever quirks, but like she has a good head on her shoulders for sure, and I like her a lot.
agreed. Okay, so that's Larsa. Let's get into Gordy a little bit. Not much was said about Gordy, but they do talk about Andy's like, dude, your husband's like getting so much attention. Like,
Yeah.
how does he feel? Like he's such a quiet guy. She's like, my husband doesn't even know how good looking he is. And like that's the best part. Like, that's the secret. Like, don't let him know, whatever. I thought that was so freaking cute.
Yeah, so
And
cute.
she talks about her husband and like how he's like the captain and firefighter, and like how all his coworkers are like busting his balls, like, oh, like you're on a reality show, like this, that, whatever. And then they talk about the fundraiser that she did. And then she starts getting emotional. And like, I don't know what it is about Gertie. Like when she starts getting emotional, like it makes me cry.
Me too.
Like right away, I was like tearing up already. Like she hasn't even said the whole story. And just like how her dad was so proud of her and like that she did this event and everything. And then right away, she's like, there was a donation there. She's like, some people didn't donate. She's like, I have the QR code right here. She's like, if you want to donate.
She's like, and I know who did and who didn't.
I
was like,
love
whoa.
her. And then right away, Alexi's like, I didn't know that you could donate. She's like, whatever. Like, I didn't know that there was a QR code. And he's like, oh, but like, it's a freaking charity event. Like, obviously, you have to donate. And Alexia was like, yeah, we donated like our dresses and stuff. But she's like, I didn't know there was an actual. So that was kind of cute.
But the entire concept of the fashion show was that as they were walking down the runway, you could have taken a picture. Like that I thought was the coolest part of it. But
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they weren't paying attention.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's pretty much QWERTY. And then we talk about Julia, and
Yeah.
Julia just really gets into like her whole story, and like it's so freaking crazy. Like
So
her life could
crazy.
have a movie basically about it.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't already know, basically her story, like she had a baby boy in 2000 and he was murdered. So she had married this really powerful man named Edward Stern. And I think he has like Russian ties, like some crazy ass like ties to like something. And very powerful man. And basically she was like told that like, oh, like you should hire a nanny because like you need a nanny, whatever. So she's like, we basically hired this nanny, like looked amazing on paper. And then basically a week later, my son was in a coma, and then he was dead from like shaken baby syndrome. So baby, he was like shook to death, like fucking crazy.
So crazy.
And then basically 5 months later that he was found dead. He was murdered.
But also that the nanny disappeared right after the baby died. Like she was like gone.
Sorry, yeah, like she completely disappeared. So she was an assassin or something. Like she was hired on purpose to basically probably infiltrate or like kill either the husband or kill the baby, like whichever came first. So she killed the baby and then she like disappeared. And then she goes, the husband was killed like 6 months later. And it was a woman who originally had come up to Julia and she had told Julia, like, does your husband cheat on you or whatever? And Julia's like, I don't know. And then the lady's like, I know what happened to your son. Like, if you give me more information about your husband, I will give you more information about your son, which very much shows that like this was a setup. Like clearly someone knows something.
Honestly, this whole story gave me the chills. Like that's so scary and so traumatizing.
And like, how can she, the way she even talks about it now, like I'm so scared for her now. Like,
oh, like this is coming out.
Are these people still out here? Like,
I don't know. It's like a 22-year-old story, but like obviously the trauma is like still very fresh for her. Like it's one thing, like, yeah, like I guess they had mistakenly when she was kind of bringing it up to Gertie, Gertie had kind of mistakenly understood it as like a miscarriage or a stillborn or whatever, and she was like relating it to her own. But then it was like, no, it was a murder. Like, what the hell? That was crazy.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. And like, I feel like Julia seems like such a like humble, sweet person. It's like, you're so shocked that this could have been a part of her life. But I do feel like, and she does say it, she goes, I was in that like sort of social circle. And the minute I saw him and he seemed like this very like GQ, like charismatic, powerful man, she's like, I was very attracted to that. And so, you know, I think she was a model, right, at that time. So yeah, I definitely do think she had that part of her life that was very different from right now, raising chickens and like having a farm.
Well, she obviously got severely like traumatized from that experience, 100%. And I guess maybe changed her life around because
like I'm surprised they didn't try to kill her, you know?
Yeah, who knows? That's really scary. So I can't believe that. My jaw was like on the floor. Like I knew we knew some of it, but she hadn't gone into that much detail about like the woman and the nanny and stuff. I was so scary.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And that's pretty much the finale, the reunion part 1. We'll get into part 2 when it airs, but it was a good reunion. I definitely love like all the housewives. Like I want them again to come. Like I want the same cast to stay. I'm really hoping the same cast stays for next season. So
I agree. They need to keep it. And so they never did a reunion previously, like in the older seasons. Is that what?
I don't know. I'm understanding. I think they did because it was Bravo, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to go back and look.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was beautiful.
Colorful.
I really love this.
And their bond. Really I think their bond too is something that we honestly like we don't see a lot of in these Housewives franchises. And when Andy was talking about, he's like, we were talking about doing another city, and he's like, why don't we just do Miami? Like, because fans were obviously
everybody would want
like, we want Miami. Yeah. He's like, why aren't we just doing Miami? Which was like such an easy answer. It's like, yeah, of course. Like, you know,
I'm glad they did.
Yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the Miami recap. It was a quick one, but it was the reunion, and we'll get to the second part very soon. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining me.
Of course.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. And that is it, guys, for the podcast this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys loved my best friend / co-host. So let us know. Follow us on Instagram at the Hollywood Heroine with the E at the end. Comment, DM us. Let us know what you thought about the podcast. And if you can, guys, if you're listening, we're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. Drop us a review on iTunes. Let us know how we're doing if you like us and if you guys want more of this. So thank you so much. Bye.